In this video, we are going to share with you 8 mistakes that most people make after eating a meal that become the reason for problems like obesity, constipation, nutritional deficiencies, and can even cause chronic health issues. We will also discuss the simple ways to fix them. So without any further delay, let's get started. Hello friends, welcome to DN Fit. Often, most of the people focus on eating healthy, but then they do certain mistakes after eating a meal because of which they not only fail to get the benefits from healthiest of foods, but also invite health problems. Please be mindful that this video is intended for educational purposes with a primary focus on natural remedies. Should you have any medical concerns or conditions, it is essential to seek guidance from your healthcare provider to receive personalized and professional advice. Starting with number 1, drinking water after meals. Do you often gulp a glass of water right after a meal? If yes, it's no. Avoid doing that. When we eat a meal, our body's temperature rises so as to digest the food. But if we drink water just after a meal, it naturally lowers the body temperature, reducing its digestive ability. When we drink water after a meal, the gastric juices get diluted. As a result, food doesn't get digested properly and rots within the system. And when food rots within the system, not only it fails to digest the nutrients from it, but brings along digestive problems. Ayurveda equates drinking water after meals to poison, which can cause huge gain in weight. Simply rinsing the mouth is an effective way to reduce the urge to drink water. Well, a sip or two is still okay, but from next time try to wait for at least 30 minutes before you drink water after a meal. Number 2, having fruits after a meal. We love eating sweets after a meal, but when we get health conscious, we prefer fruits after a meal. But doing this, you are actually messing up with your digestive system. Fruits are typically digested faster than other foods, and eating them immediately after a heavy meal might slow down the digestion of the meal itself. This can potentially lead to feelings of discomfort or bloating. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how your body reacts to eating fruits after a meal. If you experience discomfort or other negative effects, you may want to adjust your timing or portion sizes. This is the reason you might have heard people complaining, "Oh, I feel gassy after eating fruits. I feel like running to the toilet after I eat fruits." All such problems will vanish once you make a habit to eat fruits before the meals and not after. If you're finding this information helpful so far, please tap the like, subscribe and turn all notifications on to stay updated with health and nutrition tips. Number 3, lying down after a meal. Do you often feel like lying down after a meal, or do you generally have your dinner late and then immediately go to bed? Lying down immediately after a meal is generally not recommended. Just this one mistake can cause increase in belly fat and problems like acidity and heartburn. First things first, if you feel sleepy after a meal, chances are that you are overeating. Dozing immediately after a meal causes insulin sensitivity and slowed metabolism. This not only causes gain in weight, but even increases the risk of diabetes and blood pressure. Moreover, it's a proven fact that our body is most comfortable digesting the food in an upright position. Lying down after eating can contribute to the feeling of bloating and increased gas production. Stomach acid can flow back into the food pipe, triggering symptoms of acid reflux. This can damage the food pipe and cause acidity and heartburn, so it's advisable to wait before lying down after eating. Best is to keep a gap of at least 2 hours between your dinner and sleep time. Going for a leisurely walk after a meal can aid in digestion and promote better blood sugar control. Number 4, drinking tea after a meal. Do you have this habit of enjoying a cup of tea after your meals? It gives a sudden kick that prevents drowsiness caused by a big meal, isn't it? However, this is a mistake that can make your body deficient in important nutrients. Tea has tannins, particularly black tea, which have the tendency to bind with iron, zinc and calcium, interfering with their absorption. There are studies that suggest if one regularly drinks tea after a meal, it increases the chances of iron deficiency manifolds. And yes, the same is true for green tea as well. This is often why people who have this habit of drinking tea after a meal experience extreme fatigue, low hemoglobin level, pale skin and weakness. So it is always best that you keep a gap of at least 1 hour between a meal and tea. A smart option can be to have a herbal tea, something like ginger tea, which will not only have a similar satisfying effect, but will also support digestion. Number 5, exercise immediately after a meal. Do you often hit the gym, go for a jogging, swim, or do any other strenuous exercise right after a meal? Exercising immediately after a meal is generally not recommended. Exercising right after meals can disrupt your digestion process due to divergence of blood flow which was needed in the stomach rather than in muscles. Strenuous physical activity right after eating can lead to muscle cramps and side stitches due to the jostling of the digestive organs while they are processing food. If you feel the need to move or be active after a meal, opt for light physical activity such as a leisurely walk, although for strenuous activities, one must wait for at least an hour. Number 6. Smoking after a meal. Smoking after a meal is a common practice for some individuals. Smokers may be tempted to have an after-meal cigarette, but it's best they resist the urge. No doubt smoking is bad all the time, but scientific studies suggest that one cigarette after a meal is as dangerous as 10 cigarettes smoked together. Shocking, isn't it? When we smoke after a meal, the nicotine from the stomach gets metabolized more due to more blood flow in the stomach. Nicotine, a highly addictive component of tobacco, can act as an appetite suppressant. This simply means that the body will absorb nicotine from the cigarette much faster and in much more quantity than it would otherwise. Just one cigarette contains as many as 60 cancer-causing substances in it. Experts say that if you smoke right after a meal, you are increasing the risk of having IBS and stomach ulcers manifolds, so it's best you quit smoking or at least never light a cigarette after a meal. Number 7. Having sex after a meal. Masturbation or sexual intercourse is best avoided after eating a meal. During sexual activity, blood flow increases to the genital area. If your body is still processing a meal, this redirection of blood flow might not be ideal for proper digestion and can cause discomfort, bloating, or indigestion. So it's best that you wait for at least an hour after a meal before you indulge in sexual activity. While one should not have sex after a meal, it's beneficial to eat immediately after having a sexual intercourse. Number 8. Bathing after a meal. Do you have your breakfast first and then get ready for the day? Or do you, after coming back from office, first take your dinner and then go for a shower? If the answer to any of these is yes, then your digestive system isn't happy with you. When you eat a meal, there is a lot of blood flow towards the stomach and intestines to help with the digestion. But when you take bath immediately after eating, blood rushes to other body organs to maintain its core temperature. As a result, limited blood flow will be left for digestion. Now you had eaten a nutritious meal full of protein, complex carbs, and healthy fats. But since it didn't get the optimal environment for its digestion, it sat within the stomach producing toxins. So, always take a shower before the meals and never after. If you want to take a shower after a meal, at least wait for an hour. In brief, there are 8 post-meal practices that should be avoided for optimal digestive well-being. Drinking water, having fruits, drinking tea, bathing, lying down, smoking, sex and exercise. Smoking after a meal increases nicotine absorption by as high as 10 times. Always take bath before a meal. Keep a gap of at least 30 minutes after a meal before you drink water. If you often feel like lying down after a meal, chances are that you are overeating. Fruits are best eaten before a meal and not after. Tea immediately after a meal can make you anemic. Keep a gap of at least 1 hour. After a meal, if you want to walk, wait for 20 minutes. For all other strenuous exercises, give a gap of at least 1 hour. Which one of these 8 mistakes was most relatable to you? Let us know in the comments. If this video was helpful, then do let me know by giving a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us keep creating informative videos like this. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.